Hi guys, Luton here, and of course, it's Naval Strike, finally. Not a day before April Fool's Day, they managed to get it out to us, and we'll talk a little bit about a few things, but this was really to give you just my experience that I've been playing this evening with a lot of the guys from the clan, as well as some good subscribers who joined from my streaming as well, and they can all come and join on the server as you can throughout this week. If you want to come and join me to play, then of course get on, come and join the server, vghq.org. It's going to be opening all this week for Naval Strike, and apart from practices, it'll be generally online if you want to get some games there. Good range of game modes there, and I'm going to try and get on most evenings to play as well. If you want to come and play with me, get my tags, etc, etc, etc. So anyway, we'll talk about this now. So basically, yeah, we played through a load of game modes tonight. We played Conquest, Carrier Assault, Rush and Domination. Overall, as I say, I do feel it's like an aquatic armoured kill. It definitely has that feel. It has that kind of fast-paced vehicle momentum. You're always thinking, I've got to get a vehicle. That's pretty much the primary thing, apart from some of the game modes. Obviously Domination, you don't necessarily have that going on so much here. Now again, like always with Rush, we made a bit of a flank up here, and Rush, for the most part, from the couple of ones that we played on, I actually felt like it worked pretty well. I think it worked a little bit better, which kind of makes me optimistic, because you guys know I'm a very big Rush fan, and I love the hell out of that game mode. The Conquest and so on, again, really good. Carrier Assault goes hand in hand with that. Carrier Assault works very, very well. There's a few things to sort of note that we'll talk about, some of the other elements as we go through this gameplay, because it all kind of ties in actually, a few little bits and pieces. One of the early things that really kind of sucked though was we were getting so much stutter lag and all this kind of stuff, you know, it just makes your life a misery. And we don't know entirely the reasons for that, but the long and short of it is it made gameplay very difficult for us, and there are other people all saying the same thing, and then not just with this, but on other servers as well, people are saying, yeah, this is what everyone's been experiencing. So it's kind of a concern that everyone still seems to be having these quite struggling gameplays. And again, you know, I really noticed it in the end of the evening today, because earlier on in the first games that we were playing, I was suffering with this stutter lag so badly, and it was really having a major impact on my game. I was not getting simple kills that I should have been picking up, and that had a direct impact on how the games played out, you know, how successfully we were able to cap bases, move forward, secure objectives. So it had like an all ongoing effect, and I'm pretty sure we lost a couple of, you know, some games we were ahead on, and then we actually kind of we lost the turnaround, and I'm pretty sure I could, you know, put it right down in part to the stuttering and the lag and all that kind of stuff. It was just, it really has quite a major impact on the game, and it showed, because later on when we actually got sort of back up again, and in this game particularly, again, it's one that was working totally fine on, and I felt more comfortable, more fluid, more at ease. I was able to get on those targets that I needed to, and overall we had just, you know, a better enjoyable experience. So when it's functioning and when you don't have the horrible stuttering lag and other issues like that, it's fine. There have been some odd curious things happening in the game, some weird things, flipping stuff over, holes in the world, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of issues happening there in regards to that. Right here, I was trying to hold on long enough to get one of the guys to spawn on me and hopefully create a bit of a gap so I could get back in. I noticed that there's an attack boat coming, and I'm like, oh my god, I've got to make a break for it, and we just push in here. It's not going to happen. But we had a lot of fun with the gameplay this evening. That's the one thing that I would say from start to finish, despite all of the frustration, and there were times when it was very, very frustrating, but overall we had like a really hilarious fun time, and I think that's one of the things that's so good about kind of getting involved with the community, getting involved with your subscribers, getting people on board and saying, hey look, I'm going to play, come join, come play with us. And this is what I always used to do on the PS3. It was one of the things that I loved the most, was getting everybody together, come and say, hey, come play on my server, you know, let's do this, let's get some games. Because that's what it's all about. It's not about recording like epic gameplay every single time. It's not about playing like sort of 20 rounds until you get some amazing shot where you're like sort of, you know, 40-2. It's not about that. It's about getting involved with the community, having a laugh, having some good fun. You know, obviously playing the objective, because that's what I love to do. So you know, you get on that, you try to do the teamwork, the tactical play. That's what I got my clan there for. And you can see here on the board a lot of VG here in the games tonight, and that'll probably be the case throughout the week. You know, when the server's up and there's people playing, the guys want to get on, they want to get some gameplay, and it works out really well. One thing I think everybody would say was that all the games we played tonight were hard fought. The other thing that's good is, like, when I'm online, and if there's an admin online, we'll always try and balance up the servers. So that was another good thing that helped the gameplay tonight, was, you know, I noticed a few times, hey, you know, we lost 2-3 games in a row here, I would move not the whole team, you move 1 or 2 players, because 1 or 2 players is often enough to just bring that game back into balance, and that's the important thing to do. A good admin won't just, you know, some people were saying like, hey, can't we all just squad up on one team and then we'll do really good, and I was like, no, you can't do that because you're just stacking the team. So but overall, yeah, we had some really good games. Now, as you can see, we're moving on here into the carrier, and this is obviously the sort of second part of the rush game, and this was really exciting and interesting. It was such a change up from the external side, but I wondered from how this had played out so far, and I said to the guys in the game, and you can see I'm changing up my class a little bit here because I wanted to get that recon point down, because I was thinking, hang on, you know, if we get pushed out of the carrier right here, we can have a real difficult time getting back in, so I wanted to grab at the recon. Look at the water kind of pushing into the boat here as well. But I said to some of my team as well, I said to everybody, because we had everyone together on the same TeamSpeak, and I said, you know, the other team, I said, how did you guys find that? Were you finding it was too difficult to control? And so there was that kind of feeling about, you know, okay, we kind of push forward quite hard, but, you know, were they finding it almost too difficult to control? Because that's another thing. Sometimes, you know, a bad map can be designed not just from the attacking but also defending viewpoint. It can be too difficult to actually defend properly. And remember, this is a 32-player round as well, so they should have enough people to successfully, you know, put up some kind of legitimate defense anyway. But as I say, we kind of walked through it, and it kind of was really hard. But I think it was very much kind of people just maybe not being totally aware of all the different points they need to cover and so on. And I think as these game modes play out, kind of people get to grips a little bit more with it. The hovercrafts, again, as I've started to call them, the sponges. The sponges work really. You have to. It's just, you know, a stream joke. that's what they are for me from now on. Sponges. The hovercrafts, yeah, they work really good actually. They're quite controllable, fluid. I'm not going to cut any hovercraft gameplay. You've probably seen plenty already, so you know what a hovercraft looks like. But it works really good. I'll have some more gameplay obviously throughout this week. But overall, so far, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed how that played out as well. And I think the mix of things is going really well. Sometimes things can feel a little one-sided, but again, it's down to your team to kind of counter that. We had times when the attack boats felt they were being very powerful. We had times when air superiority was an issue. But again, if you and your team are aware of that and you work together to sort of counter that problem, then it's often, you know, reduced down. And this was often what was happening. You know, we would sort of get in, and provided that attack boat, you know, people were aware and they were on that target, then it would go down. So it wasn't so much of an issue. So again, from my gameplay on this server anyway, I felt like it was overall fairly balanced. I didn't find that any one particular map was quite frustrating. I actually found that they were kind of, it was kind of actually, you remember what I said from some of my earlier speaking about Naval Strike, and I mentioned about how a lot of the maps look the same apart from a couple, and that was kind of generally how I felt in this one so far, was that, you know, a lot of the maps did feel fairly the same apart from some of them, like for example this. You can see here we get kind of isolated. I don't even understand why in Rush they allow you to go all the way here. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no hatches or anything to get onto, and I end up sort of retreating back to the way I came out on. I was running up here thinking I was going to be able to flank, maybe drop down in from, you know, into behind, but no, it doesn't really go anywhere. So I don't even understand why. What that's really for, that section, is so that you can helicopter up. That's what it's really for, so you can get up onto the top, you can drop people in the heli and then come down. That's what it's for. But it's weird that it's kind of, there's no sort of outbounds up there, so you kind of, if you want, can just kind of wander around weirdly, trying to get around. I got shot around the corner, man. I was behind that corner totally. Anyway. So yeah, overall, you know, I really enjoyed it tonight. I was kind of surprised. I was a little bit cynical. I'm always a bit cynical about kind of things, but yeah, I had a good game this evening, and multiple games. It was all really good. As I say, the team play worked out really well. Look at the water coming in here. I have no idea if that's meant to be legit, if that's supposed to be how it actually is or not. I've got no idea, but we had a good laugh about that when it was coming in. We're like, oh my god, the water's coming into the boat. What's going on? It was just totally crazy. Domination plays out extremely well in Naval Strike. The maps, I think, are varied and interesting, particularly the ones that are inside the ship. It's a massive cluster, and you know, shotguns and the PDWs really worked very, very well in that game. I'd got the MP7 out, and I was dominating with that. So yeah, it works really well. There's definitely some exciting, interesting play. It does mix it up a little, but as I say, I do feel very much like it's an aquatic armoured kill. It's absolutely got that feel to it. Total fail there. And as I said, we'll get into some of those other maps. But anyway, bringing on to my last thing to talk about here. Now remember, this week I don't want to go through the same rigmarole every single time of, you know, here's the map, here's my breakdown of it. I know some of you have requested that I do kind of rush routes, or that I do map routes, or kind of key areas of interest and things that you need to move to, that kind of tactical stuff. So I will look at some of that because I know you guys have requested. But one of the main things I wanted to say was, remember, oh yeah, that was Trev, that first class res right there. For two guys like standing on me, yeah, first class res. What I want you guys to do, remember, is to drop down in the comments below here what you think about Naval Strike, and also what you want me to do for the next video tomorrow and then going through the week. So drop down your thoughts and ideas, what you think would be interesting, what you want to hear me talk about in the game with Naval Strike. I don't necessarily want to dictate to you things that we're going to do, so drop them down below. The last response on the previous video that I made the other day was very, very good indeed. Got a lot of ideas from that, and I want to hear that every day from you guys when we post videos this week talking about Naval Strike. So thanks for watching as always, guys. If you enjoyed, drop it a like, and I'll see you next time for some more Battlefield 4 Naval Strike.